But I think more than anything is that I think that the tour is, they're hearing fans, and I think the pendulum is shifting a bit towards what the fans want, maybe more than what the players want. Now there has to be a balance there. There has to be a balance. I'm not saying the tour is going to do everything the fans want, but they are being influenced, I feel like, more by the fans, and I think that is a positive.
Todd, you and I have had this conversation for the better part of our careers, which is 2+ decades. The idea that pace of play is a problem on the PGA Tour, and yet nothing ever seems to come of it. Now, in back-to-back weeks, you have announcers. Last week, it was Dottie Pepper with CBS. This week, it was Frank Nobilo calling out Tom Kim on pace of play issues. Do you think the players are starting to get the message?
I do. Actually, Thursday through Sunday, play for all 4 rounds were ahead of the pace that was prescribed by the PGA Tour with the broadcast partners. In other words, the tournament play ended before the broadcast was over. So they ended 15 to 20 minutes early. As a matter of fact, Thursday and Friday, I was told by a rules official here on the PGA Tour that the pace of play was the fastest it's ever been in this tournament for the first 2 rounds. So I think look, it's a talking point in the locker room. No player really wants to be known as the slow player, and especially if on the horizon there's a real possibility that you are going to be revealed to the public as a slow player. So I think that the players are addressing this internally and they're trying to make a better effort, but they are being pushed a bit by the PGA Tour and the fans.
Todd, along those same lines, like, what do you think is the ultimate goal here? Is it simply optics to say that the PGA Tour is speeding up play? Like, for instance, the NBA and Commissioner Adam Silver is saying he wants to reduce the quarter time from 12 minutes to 10 to essentially fit NBA games into a 2-hour window. Is the PGA Tour trying to lop off an hour and a half to all of a sudden get into a 4-hour window? Is it just optics? Do they want to, make it look like they're finally starting to crack down on what's been an epidemic, not just at the professional level, but the recreational level as well? What's your read on what the ultimate goal is?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not exact. There is just a goal, a primary goal that the PGA Tour is looking at, but I do think that it can be a slowish sport on television. They're not running, they're not tackling out there, and so if you have a slower pace and it takes a player a minute or so to hit a shot, then the attention of a viewer is going to go elsewhere. So I think the tour is aware of that, and they've done their own research. And like Rory said earlier in the week, this is not a new problem. This is something that's been around for a long, long time. But again, I am in a positive state of mind because I feel as if the tour is trying, in harmony with the players, to do something about this.
See, I don't share your optimism, only because I've heard the conversation for so long, and I find it hard to wrap my mind around the tour's finally going to get around to doing something. But if they do, and you mentioned public shaming, and I think public shaming of players would go a long way. But what would be the key to this? Would it be public shaming? Would it be a shot clock? Would it be making sure that each group has an official assigned to make sure that they remain on pace? Like, what would be the magic bullet here?
Well, guys, we've covered the tour, like you said, a long, long time. If for the tour to say or to imply that there is a real possibility that they are going to make it known to the public, to the fans, which players are slow and which players have been fined. I think that's a big, that is a leap for the tour because they have been obviously so protective of the players and their disciplinary issues for, ever since basically the tour has been in existence. And so, I feel like that's a pretty radical move. And my guess is that the players heard that. And that's why maybe you saw a little faster time this week.